The greatest artists have it all. They have all those aspects in them.
He was so sweet to me. I really got close to him for a while, and he was so encouraging, such an amazing person.
Jim Carrey doesn't just perform, he transforms. That rubber face, those contorted limbs. The way he can make his body do things that seem to defy human anatomy. But behind the madness is method. Behind the chaos is study. Carrey didn't become the highest-paid comic actor of the 90s by accident.
I became his calling at a certain point, and he was always super behind me. But from the first time I can remember, him just lighting up the room.
He got there by worshiping at the altar of the greats. From age 6, he had psychic connections with Jerry Lewis movies.
Well, I think Jerry Lewis was an absolute genius in so many ways.
Could sense when they were playing on television. Would walk into rooms and just know. That's not fandom, that's possession. Carrey grew up poor in Canada, lived in a van, worked nights as a janitor in a tire factory while going to high school. Comedy wasn't an escape, it was survival. And the actors he studied taught him how to survive, how to take pain and turn it into laughter, how to rebel against reality itself. This list isn't about celebrities, it's about lineage, about the performers who showed a broke Canadian kid that you could be weird and you still be loved. That physical comedy is high art. Let's count down the 10 actors who made Jim Carrey possible. 10. Art Carney. Art Carney played Ed Norton on The Honeymooners. The sewer worker, Ralph Cramden's best friend.
The golf swing. First, step up, plant your feet firmly on the ground and address the ball.
Carrey named him as one of his early influences. Carney specialized in playing lovable dimwits with perfect timing. That combination of sweetness and stupidity became Carrey's blueprint for Lloyd Christmas in Dumb and Dumber.
He was an incredible human being. I was psychically linked to him when I was a child,
Carney understood that dumb characters can't know they're dumb. They have to believe completely in their own logic. That's what makes them funny. When Carrey talks about influences, Carney represents the everyman tradition, the working-class fool who survives through luck and friendship. Carney won an Oscar for Harry and Tonto playing a different kind of character. But it's Norton that mattered to young Jim. Norton showed that you could be the sidekick and still steal every scene, that supporting players can be more memorable than stars. Carney taught Carrey that the second banana is a position of power. 9. Jackie Gleason, the great one. Gleason was Carney's co-star on The Honeymooners. Ralph Cramden, the bus driver with big dreams and bigger failures.
Funny part about it is, I didn't have to be broke. I had $22 stashed away, Norton.
Carrey cited Gleason alongside Carney as formative influences. What Gleason taught Carrey was rage, how to make anger hilarious. Cramden's constant threats to send Alice to the moon were empty bluster. Gleason played men whose masculinity was performance, who puffed themselves up because they felt small. Carrey absorbed that. His loudest characters are often covering insecurity. The Mask, Ace Ventura, even Count Olaf. They're all performing confidence they don't actually possess.
In the documentary, you mentioned that characters like Stanley Ipkiss in The Mask, Truman Burbank, Truman Show, Joel Barish, Eternal Sunshine.
Gleason also showed Carrey how physical comedy works in confined spaces. The Honeymooners was one set. Gleason made that apartment feel huge through movement. Carrey would do the same thing, turn small rooms into circuses. Gleason proved you don't need special effects, just commitment, just willingness to throw your whole body at a joke. 8. Dick Van Dyke. Carrey told Closer magazine. I was a huge fan of Dick Van Dyke.
You know what I mean, honey? You didn't say it in the style it was written. It's like instead of being able to read Romeo and Juliet, somebody condenses it for you.
Van Dyke represented something Carrey wanted, versatility. Van Dyke could sing, dance, do pratfalls, and play straight roles. The Dick Van Dyke Show, Mary Poppins, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Van Dyke moved through genres effortlessly. That appealed to Carrey. He didn't want to be stuck doing one thing.
Like, what am I watching here? I'm used to Carol Burnett, and I'm used to people presenting themselves, and I am so-and-so.
Van Dyke's physical comedy was graceful. He made falling down look like ballet. Carrey took that and made it violent, more chaotic. but the principle was the same. Your whole body is the instrument. Van Dyke also showed Carrey that nice guys can be funny. You don't have to be cruel or edgy. Rob Petrie was decent, likable, and hilarious. That influenced Carrey's choices in films like Bruce Almighty. Characters who learn to be better. Van Dyke taught him that comedy can have heart without being sappy. 7. Charlie Chaplin. Carrey received the Charlie Chaplin Britannia Award for Excellence in Comedy in 2018. In his acceptance speech, he talked about Chaplin fighting capitalism without conscience, about how Chaplin's little tramp walked funny because he had holes in his shoes. Without empathy like that, the character would never have existed, Carrey said.
Without empathy like that, this character would never have existed. Without empathy, we won't either.
Chaplin taught Carrey that physical comedy comes from character, from understanding who someone is and why they move that way. The tramp wasn't just funny, he was lonely, poor, resilient. Carrey studied Chaplin's silent films obsessively. Modern Times became one of his 5 favorite comedies of all time. Pure genius, he called it. You can't beat those set pieces. They will last forever. Chaplin also showed Carrey that comedians could be political, that you could make people laugh while making them think. The great dictator satirized Hitler when most of Hollywood was afraid to. Chaplin got blacklisted for his beliefs, exiled. Carrey connected that to his own outspoken politics, saw himself as continuing that tradition. 6. Buster Keaton. Keaton was Chaplin's contemporary, his rival in silent comedy. Where Chaplin played emotion, Keaton played stoicism. The great stone face. No matter what chaos erupted around him, Keaton never smiled, never broke. That deadpan approach fascinated Carrey.
I believe that I had to become a famous, idea.
Yeah.
He studied how Keaton could be in the middle of a hurricane and look bored, how that contrast created comedy. Carrey used that technique in The Truman Show, playing a man who doesn't realize his life is fake, staying sincere while everything around him is performance. Keaton's physical stunts were legendary. He did everything himself, nearly died multiple times. The famous scene where a house facade falls on him and he survives by standing in the window frame. That's not special effects, that's commitment. Carrey absorbed that ethos. When he played Stanley Ipkiss transforming into The Mask, he insisted on doing the physical comedy himself, contorting his face, bending his body, making it real. Keaton also taught Carrey about camera work. Keaton understood composition, how to frame a gag so the audience sees everything. No cuts, no cheating, just one perfect shot. Carrey would reference that in interviews. Talk about how the best comedy happens in wide shots. Let the audience watch the whole body. That's Keaton's legacy. 5. Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers, the man of 1,000 faces.
Got hold of a right ponce here.
Part of it, though, isn't it?
What is?
Carrey has been called the modern Peter Sellers countless times. In 2008, while filming Yes Man, Carrey praised his co-star Rhys Darby by saying, "He's got that Peter Sellers madness inside him." That word, madness. That's what Carrey saw in Sellers, the willingness to be utterly unhinged.
And, it's the greatest artists have it all.
Sellers played Inspector Clouseau in the Pink Panther films, a complete idiot who destroyed everything he touched. But Sellers played him seriously, never winked at the camera, believed completely in the character. Carrey learned from that. His dumbest characters work because he commits fully. Lloyd Christmas isn't playing dumb. He is dumb. Sellers also played multiple roles in Dr. Strangelove, 3 completely different characters in the same film. That fascinated Carrey. He'd do the same thing in Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, playing Count Olaf in various disguises. 4. James Stewart. Here's where it gets interesting. James Stewart is Jim Carrey's acting idol, not a comedian, a dramatic actor who could do comedy.
Make yourself comfortable, Harvey.
All right.
Carrey told an interviewer in 1985, Ever since I was a kid, I have loved Jimmy Stewart movies. I love Jimmy Stewart movies from the word go. Stewart became Carrey's template for the career he actually wanted. Someone who could play comedy or drama with equal skill. Stewart's performance in Harvey influenced Carrey enormously. A man who sees an invisible rabbit and refuses to stop believing, holding on to imagination even when reality says no. Stewart played Elwood P. Dowd with complete sincerity, never making fun of the character, treating delusion with dignity. Carrey also loved It's a Wonderful Life, the story of a man who wants to die discovering his life mattered. That bittersweet combination of comedy and despair. Carrey would explore similar themes in The Truman Show and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Stewart showed Carrey that nice guys can be leading men. That vulnerability is strength. That American audiences will embrace decent characters if you play them honestly. When Carrey shifted toward dramatic roles, he was following Stewart's blueprint, proving comedians can be taken seriously. That range matters more than brand. 3. Steven Spielberg and Frank Capra. Carrey named these two directors as favorites because of their tilt toward upbeat endings. This reveals something crucial about Carrey's philosophy. He believes in hope, in redemption, in happy endings. People have enough dumped on them in everyday life without walking out of a theater feeling down, Carrey explained. They should feel uplifted. Capra directed It's a Wonderful Life, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, films about ordinary people fighting corrupt systems and winning. Stewart starred in both, so Carrey's love of Stewart and Capra are connected. They represent the same idealism. Spielberg makes blockbusters that believe in wonder. E.T. Close Encounters. Even Jaws is ultimately about human resilience. Carrey wanted to work with Spielberg his whole career. I wanted to be in films that big and that heartfelt. This entry isn't about actors, it's about worldview. Carrey rejects cynicism, refuses to make art that crushes people. Even his darkest films have light in them. The Truman Show ends with Truman walking through the door, escaping, winning. Eternal Sunshine ends with Joel and Clementine trying again, despite knowing they'll fail. That's Capra, that's Spielberg, that's Carrey, choosing hope even when it's hard. That's number 3. Because it shaped every decision Carrey ever made. 2. Jerry Lewis. I am because he was. That's what Carrey tweeted when Jerry Lewis died in 2017. 5 words that explain everything. Jerry Lewis is the foundation, the bedrock, the reason Jim Carrey exists. Carrey wrote, I've always had this psychic connection with Jerry Lewis. When I was 6 or 7 years old, I'd be sitting in my house with my family and have this really palpable feeling that one of his movies was on.
When you're dreaming, love's a lonely.
I'd turn on the television and, sure enough, Money from Home or Living It Up would be playing. That's not casual fandom. That's a spiritual connection. Lewis represented total freedom to young Jim. I've never been particularly grounded in the real world myself, and I love the idea of rebellion against reality. Through his comedy, Jerry would stretch the boundaries of reality so far that it was an act of anarchy. Lewis made the rules disappear, made acceptable behavior irrelevant, just committed completely to the bit. Carrey absorbed that, built his career on it. In the same way that Jimi Hendrix learned from Chuck Berry, I learned from Jerry. He is part of my makeup. I don't do exactly what he did, but his freedom and his disrespect for the norm is there in my work. 1. Percy Carrey. Jim Carrey's father, Percy Carrey, a musician who became an accountant to support his family, who lost that job and ended up living in a van with his wife and kids, working as a janitor. Percy was Jim's first comedy partner, drove him to clubs when Jim was 15, helped him write material, believed in him when nobody else did. When interviewers ask Carrey about influences, he always comes back to Percy. He was an amazing, incredible character. I'm always drawing on my father to play characters. He was the kind of guy who, if you talked to him for 5 minutes, you felt like you knew him for 50 years. Percy died in 1994, the same year Jim became a superstar. Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, all released after his father's death. Carrey has said the success felt hollow without Percy there to see it, that everything he does is for his dad. Percy taught Jim that talent without support means nothing, that believing in someone can change their life. When Carrey talks about his favorite actors, he's really talking about his favorite person, the man who showed him that comedy is love, that making people laugh is service. Percy Carrey is #1 because he's the reason any of this matters. He's why Jim keeps going, always will be. Jim Carrey built his career studying greatness. These 10 taught him everything, from Lewis's anarchy to Stewart's humanity to his father's love. If this list surprised you, drop a comment. Hit subscribe for more deep dives. And remember what Carrey learned from all of them. Rebellion against reality is the greatest gift comedy offers.